have devised ways of how to circumvent them.
In BBI, there was a push to have a graft case had and determined in 6 months, just like
In the what?
petitions. In BBI,
Yes.
there was a push to have graft cases be had and determined within 6 months, and just like the election petition. So, will you consider lobbying amendment of Economic Crimes Act to act as a game changer in the fight against corruption?
Indeed, those of you may have followed my vetting process at the Parliament. That is one of the things that I had talked about, that corruption cases, especially the big ones, that drag on for 10 years, 15 years, some even 20 years. By that time, these people have already enjoyed the benefit of what they stole. Those who are going into leadership positions have already served their terms and retired. So we are lobbying so that we can get these kinds of cases heard and determined within the shortest time possible, 6 months, at most 1 year, so that if a person is clean, let them be released to serve the nation. But if they are dirty, let them be removed from where they are to go where they ought to be.
Talking about your vetting process, you mentioned that you would want EACC to be handed over prosecutorial powers. Why do you think it is important for EACC to have such powers?
Why would EACC want prosecutorial powers? You see, what you find is that there are so many steps in corruption cases. And when you have so many steps, people know how to get in between. So that we have investigators who investigate a case. Then we have, we finalize it and hand it over to the DPP. DPP office really deals with all criminal cases. And the workload, therefore, in that office is just enormous. So when we send our files, they are not the only files that they are dealing with. So they have to prioritize according to the kind of work that they have. If that was given to or delegated, and that is a possibility, and we would like to discuss that with DPPs, it's not taking over their role, but if that was to be delegated to EACC, then we can be able to prioritize and forward these cases more expeditiously than it is happening right now. That is the idea behind it.
Is it true that EACC is focused more on junior officials rather than hunting the big fish who are looting public funds?
I thought I already answered that question.
But is it true?
It is not true. It is not true. We follow every case. For example, immediately after I came into office, I think maybe the first week or so, I received an email from somebody out in the village somewhere who was very distraught because the chief had extorted from him 1,000 shillings. And so he wrote to EACC, to me as the chairman, to deal with that case. I took a while because I was still settling in the office. A week later, I sent a reminder. You have not done anything about this case of this chief who took 1,000 shillings from me. So for us, we look at that as a very small money. And if we arrest the chief for 1,000 shillings, we say, oh, you are just going for small fish. But for the person from which 1,000 shillings was taken, it is a big deal that they wrote 2 emails within a week just to ensure that that does not happen. And as I said earlier, if we can stop the small fish who, in my view, are feeding the big fish, we will begin to win this corruption war.
So who bears the more responsibility, the dog or the dog owner?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Who bears more responsibility according to you? The dog or the dog owner? The big fish or the small fish?
Both of them.
Thank you.
They-
Thank you for the press. One more question.
We've seen the president taking a tough stand against corruption.
Right.
And tumekuwa tukiimba governors wachukue pia hatua hiyo hiyo ya kwamba wapige vita dhidi ya ufisadi. Lakini what do you think should be done differently? Kwa sababu hizi ni nyimbo ambazo zimekuwa zikiimbwa hata before uchukue usukani. Kwa hiyo what do you think should be done differently?
The president, I must appreciate the stand that President took right from the time that he entered into office. He has made it very clear that he's not going to tolerate corruption. He has met with almost all the government officials, beginning from the CSS downwards, to just make it clear that I'm not going to tolerate corruption. And I think that is a very good message coming from the top. And we as EACC, being charged with that responsibility, it even makes our work, I would say, much easier, because sometimes you used to hear of orders from above, this is a message from above, you can't touch so and so. But when the president has pronounced himself, then these people have nowhere to hide, where they used to hide. So it really makes our work so much the easier, not necessarily because he has spoken, but because he has made it clear that there is no stone that is too difficult to turn. And so we are going to take advantage of that and do our work the way it should be.
Thank you. We can stop there, members. And if there are clarifications, I will give you a written document that elaborates the issues that the chairperson has discussed.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. And Vice. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so the chairperson is going to make a presentation to the participants in the next 1 hour or so. So those who may be interested in what is in the closing speech are welcome.
So Bishop, hawezi kutuombea na
tutaomba tukimaliza shughuli pale. Walikuwa wanataka waombewe tu wanafanya mzani.